And I'm going to probably have to talk about it again on my podcast later tonight. But I had to say, this is important because Julian Assange has been arrested. He looked terrible when he came out of that embassy. It was shocking how bad he looked. I feel horrible about the whole situation. This is really rough, guys. It revolves around the Ecuadorian embassy and the president and his cabinet under investigation for corruption charges. Well, guess why? Because Wikileaks reported on them. There was a leak, and yeah, he published it. Julian Assange, I'm not saying See, here's the thing. We'll find out right now who's really in charge of WikiLeaks. We'll find out a lot of stuff. We'll find out if there's a contingency plan. Maybe we'll get a massive data dump. That's what I'm looking for. Tons and tons of more things that are out there that they've been holding back exactly for today. That could be coming, so keep your eyes out is what I'm saying. The sooner the better we find this stuff, if you ask me. I was making a homesteading post about gardening when I heard the news about this and kind of dropped that just to get this going. But of course I will be doing that one too. But seriously, guys, this is a big deal. This could change a lot of things. This could change politics in a lot of countries. This isn't, an American thing, an Ecuadorian thing, or a United Kingdom thing. This is huge. This could be anywhere in the world, any country in it. So we have to really pay attention to this because, the media is probably going to bury this and they're going to talk about Julian Assange being some sort of weird criminal, or they're going to defame him and they're going to try to make this look as warranted as possible, like he deserves to have the book thrown at him. We're going to make an example out of him for doing actual journalism. Watch all the reporters and journalists say that. That is going to be the most interesting thing. They are going to claim that he is their enemy, and if they do, good. At least we know where we all stand, I suppose. I think that's a very important point to remember. We all will know who is the real reporter and the real journalist and who is well, I don't know how to say this politely, so maybe I'll just call them shills. How about that? That's about as nice as I can be to the people who are going to, tell you that Assange deserves the worst. Don't let him speak. Let's get him into the execution chamber as fast as possible is what they're going to say. And if they do, let me tell you, that means they're not real reporters. They're being paid. They are bought and paid for talking heads. They're mouthpieces. That is. We'll see how it goes though. The evening news is going to be interesting tonight. I can tell you that. But yeah, real quick, I just why is this happening? He was in the Ecuadorian embassy. He was hiding from the British government and the United States government and probably about every spy agency in the world, and God only knows. Yeah, it wasn't really a bad idea for him to take cover considering what he does for a living. Regardless, I suppose, I don't know. I don't know if it was inevitable or not because, the Ecuadorian government is a government, right? Governments are corrupt. That's kind of how it goes. I've never met a government that didn't have something to hide, and when it was about money and corruption, people getting bribed and certain federal agencies and members of the cabinet getting lots of donations from people who were, making quite a bit of money off of, I guess their oil and things like that. We're going to look into it more. It's been one of those kind of weeks, like I said, it's springtime, so I'm out gardening, you know what I mean? But, yeah, I'm not detached, I guess, so we'll have to come back to it, I guess the plants will wait, but there'll be less arugula this year, but all right, whatever. It's going to be less information this year if we don't have WikiLeaks. It's going to make a lot of actual, journalist lives and jobs a lot harder. The ones that are genuinely trying to do the job, just not, repeating what our bosses tell us. I don't have a boss to tell me what to cover, obviously. That's why I do this live, too, and don't have a script, if you hadn't noticed. So, that's how it's supposed to be. You can write your own script, I suppose, so you can organize your thoughts so it doesn't end up as rambling as some sort of YouTube video like this. But nonetheless, it is what it is. This is going to hurt. So I don't know what the Ecuadorian government was thinking. Maybe they just thought that they could get some special treatment because they were protecting him. But I've always said that's why I have some respect for these people that do this. They don't care about sides. This isn't a propaganda arm. WikiLeaks has never been about propaganda. It's never been about a narrative. They publish what they publish. We'll find out if it is, though. That's the thing. If they release a bunch of other things like, from Bush or something like that, who knows what they've been holding back? Maybe nothing. Maybe it's a bluff. But we'll see if they have been pushing a narrative, if they release all what they have, if they're going out of business sale kind of thing. I guess we got to pay attention to that. So we'll find out. It's going to be tough. I don't know what's happening next. Like I said, Ecuador, they booted him out because someone leaked information about their corruption when it comes to their oil industry and their government, and they didn't like it, and that was the end of that. But looking at Assange, it was probably 2 years too late. He looked like a ghost. He looked very unhealthy. I hope the hell he gets some sun. You know what I mean? And I don't know. I'm not sure I'm expressing this properly. The way he lived was really bad, being locked up like that. And I don't know what's worse. I mean, the only thing worse is hopefully, well, nothing, I guess. You know what I mean? I want to see him actually free one day. That'd be nice. I think he's done a great service to humanity. So, that's me. We'll figure it out, though, because, again, these arrest warrants are all been secret charges. So let's see if it's espionage or something like that. We'll see. Exposing corruption, to me, isn't espionage. So it's more of a litigious debate, I suppose, at that rate. And we'll have it, I suppose. But, again, I don't know if we'll see it on CNN, so I'm making this video. But, yeah, bottom line, good for Assange for reporting on Ecuador when he had the chance. But here's where I want to leave everybody, because this is where the actual mystery, all the fun stuff starts. If you're into the deep dives type of thing, this is what it's about. Now, did this leak from Ecuador to WikiLeaks happen organically? That's my question. That's what I'm really trying to bring to the table here. Was it somebody in that government that was just, I know where to, expose this corruption. I know who's going to help. Is it altruistic, or is this sort of some kind of like, black hat operation? I'm going to have to throw it out there, because perhaps there was somebody in the UK, Switzerland, I don't know, anywhere he's pissed somebody off, which is quite a few places. Could be a Russian. Remember when we were talking about Russian spies? Well, actually, they do exist, but maybe not in the capacity you see on the mainstream media. It very well could have been, like I said, a Russian spy who just wants to throw a massive wrench in the West, and to me, is a way to do it. I feel like this is going to stem this is going to take our information levels down, which is a huge problem. It's never a good thing. The government kind of won this round, in a sense. We'll see where it goes. I mean, Trump, if you could step in and fix this, at least for his American side, we could give him asylum. I know that is probably the worst time in the world to even bring that word up, let alone the concept. But yeah, not like he had it in the UK either, not locked in a room where he hasn't seen any daylight in months or years. But an actual life would be nice. I mean, while he has a chance, like I said, I feel like we own that as citizens. Maybe not as government officials, though, so we'll see where it goes. But, so, yeah, I wouldn't be, I'm not going to hear him, this is conjecture. I'm not blaming Russia. I'm not doing that. I mean, I would like to know what's going on, though. It's not a conspiracy theory. Something happened. Several groups conspired in several different countries to get Julian Assange arrested just now. Who were they and why? Are they the same people that start wars in Venezuela? Were they just so happened to be next door in Ecuador? Would you be terribly surprised if there were more people in Central America screwing around on behalf of the greater good than we originally thought? Because that's where my mind goes right away. It's like, is this, like I said, I don't want to expose the leaker too. That's where it gets tough. That's how they kind of catch people like me. Like, we want to know, why Seth Rich was murdered, but we also don't want him outed as a leaker because, that's his choice and his reputation, and dishonoring the dead is its own, thing, its own right. But I mean, give it, I don't know. I plan on living another 30 years, so certain things I can wait for, certain things I can't. I want to know where the leak that got Julian Assange arrested came from. That's where I'm at now. And if you're out there and you like this kind of stuff, you pay attention to it, or like I said, getting third-hand information is fine, but going to the source, which WikiLeaks is a massive source of information, that's the best way. When people, I mean, it might seem wrong, but I mean, when Hillary Clinton is talking and she doesn't think anyone's listening, you get to hear some honesty for a change. And how often do you get honesty from politicians unless they don't think you're listening? You know what I mean? It's sort of their thing. It's, you know, it's a little different to be spying on your carpenter and your plumber when they're helping you out around the house or something like that than your politicians. Let me tell you. You know, I'm just saying. These people need to be watched because they got way too much power and they're obviously doing weird stuff with it. So let's see some power done right. I'm like I said, reaching out for Trump, man. Fix it for him. At least help. You know, he promised people like me during his campaign that he would be on the side of Wikileaks. He said it 100,000 times. Remember that whole Russian thing? I mean, yeah, it seems like yesterday because it won't go away. But regardless, you know, I gotta cover Julian Assange. You know what I'm saying? It's like I said, you can get a worldview out of his work. You know, when you take the curtain back and you see how reality functions, it changes things for you. It's nice. It's a good thing. You know, so yeah, let's all hope that this isn't the end of WikiLeaks. I don't think it will be. It might just be the beginning. So let's get ready for a ride, guys. That's pretty much what I wanted to say. And if you can figure out, like I said, I'm on the mission to see who. Again, I can't expose leakers from 7,000 miles away. I'm a little bit out of touch to think of who can. But if you heard rumors, I'll take those for now. We'll start somewhere. You know what I mean? And again, I'm not, like I said, not to dox somebody, but if this is a CIA bullshit operation, let's just call it what it is, okay? You know, let's find out. It's called freedom of information, so maybe we can go that route. Like legally, we could find this stuff out if it's below board on our own government, or who knows, you know what I mean? But it's worth investigating. It's worth asking at least these questions, and somebody's got to help Assange, man. I don't know what to do here except make videos, get the word out. So, you know, I wouldn't mind having, like I said, the legal conversation, see if I'm off base. But I feel like if, I'm reading his stuff, I don't think he's a criminal, obviously. So we'll see where it goes. But everybody have a better day than he is, I guess. And, if you're hanging out, I'm going to be back here in about 11 hours. It's like 9 a.m. now, so 8 o'clock tonight on the East Coast. I'll be doing a full show and covering all the headlines, but obviously I'm going to be reading about this all day, and I should have more information, obviously, if I spend some time with it, which I will. So thanks for hanging out and giving me the time of day, guys. Have a